Now that we finished watching all of the shows from spring 2025 that we intended to, we can do the tier list. And I feel like I say this every time, but I was going through a pretty major depressive episode at the second half of watching shows, so a lot of things ended up in dropped, and I'm sure that not all of them should be there in like a normal circumstance. Sure, I could have had more tolerance for finishing like Rock is a Lady's Modesty, for example, if I wasn't ultra depressed, but either way, there were still some good shows in here that broke through that. So starting with Moonrise, from what I do remember, it's more like just average. It needed a lot of work on storytelling, in my opinion, but it was still enjoyable.
Yeah, I can go an average for this season.
Then we had the Unaware Atelier Meister, which I enjoyed a lot more than I was expecting to. And I think, again, in comparison, it's probably an average.
It was a fun show, but it didn't really do anything groundbreaking.
Once Upon a Witch's Death was something that we watched at the very beginning of the season for us, and I probably should have dropped it ultimately and not pushed myself to keep watching it the whole time, but I still had the energy to push myself to keep watching, so that's a meh. I could have done without it.
Yeah, it didn't really live up to its promise and felt like it ended very flatly.
The Two Perfect Saint was really good. It had a lot going for it, but it wasn't like a new obsession level show, so I think it would be A tier.
Yeah, good show, didn't quite hit the best.
The Brilliant Healer's New Life in the Shadows was another one where it probably could have done a lot better if it had more story structure. Sometimes the sheer number of characters in the cast kind of brought it down, so I think it'd probably be B tier.
Yeah, a few too many times where everyone had to have their say in a conversation.
I didn't feel nearly as hyped about Windbreaker Season 2 as I did for the original season, but it's not like anything was terribly wrong. Like, you can't sit there and be like, oh, the animation quality went down or something. No, it's just personal opinion, so I think that was average this time.
Yeah, it didn't. Season 1 was much better than Season 2 was. It still had a few good emotional moments, and the fights were there for at least the solo fights.
Some of the group fights went way too long. Can a boy-girl relationship survive? Ended up being a C tier for me. Another one where I finished it and I was like, wow, I kind of wish I could have those hours of my life back because Himari is just intolerable.
Evil.
From Old Country Bumpkin to Master Swordsman for me is C tier because I was really bored, but again, there was nothing actually wrong with it, so it just wasn't holding my attention.
The sword fights were really cool, and it did a good job blending the CG and the 2D animation, so I'm going to say screw you, and it's going in average.
Yeah,
because it doesn't deserve to be with those two.
No, it does not. If there was something between B and C, that's where it would be, really. The Gorilla God's Go-To Girl, I think, had a lot of potential, but it really squandered its second half. So it's more like a B tier. But then it's also extremely low budget. So there's a lot of times where your brain is taken out of the show. I feel like if I were recommending it to people, which is technically what we're talking about, it's a C. But it wasn't like a C in the sense of like, oh, this was awful, I wish I'd dropped it. It was just that I felt disappointed. So I'd rather be nice to it and put it at B.
Okay. I gave up halfway through the season, but...
Kowloon Generic Romance was the breakout show of this season for me. I was not expecting for it to be that good, although I've heard a lot of really good things about the manga. I just wasn't sure if I could believe people. So this is our first best show of the season. It was wonderful.
Don't look into anything. Just watch.
Go in as blind as possible because it will make the experience better. I left my A-rank party to help my students reach the dungeon depths. It was good in the sense that it kept things moving and the energy of the show was fairly upbeat, so I would say it was an average.
Had some fun world building.
My Hero Academia Vigilantes was kind of disappointing to me. I really wish that they had spent more time on our trio of main characters because Knuckle Duster was really the only one that they spent time on, and that's why he ended up being the best character. And if they had done even a little bit more for everyone, it would have been so much more bearable.
Yeah, I feel like they could have done a better job making it more of a character piece than what it ended up being.
Because it was already so isolated from how the regular My Hero show works, where it's a huge cast. And so I thought we were going to go into more of an individualistic dive, and we didn't. I think the squandered potential earns it a B. The Apothecary Diaries Season 2 continues to be a really great show. I am absolutely obsessed. This is one of my top 5 shows of all time, so it goes in best. And then my complete personal bias for Black Butler makes the Emerald Witch arc also in Best of the Best. And so theoretically, it's like there were only 4 shows that I felt really good about this season, but there were a decent amount of good moments amongst the B-tier average shows that still made them worth watching. It always makes me feel bad when so many of my S-tier shows are literally just like sequel seasons to stuff, but you know, if you're that inundated in an IP, the likelihood that you're going to enjoy a follow-up is pretty high. So I'm just happy that at least one new show ended up in there.
Yeah, you're watching the follow-up seasons because you liked the first season. It makes sense that you're gonna enjoy it still.
Yeah. And now we have to look at how we originally thought that this tier list was going to go, because I don't think that our preview assumptions are going to be accurate because we did not weigh those scores for the depression scale. A lot of our meh shows ended up dropped instead, so they didn't even pass the I'm wanting to give it a try test.
You didn't even pass the I don't even want to give it a try.
Oh, our Last Crusade, because I kept putting it off, and then finally it was like the only show left to watch, and I was like, I just can't do it. I can't get back into it. We thought we were going to drop Unaware Atelier Meister, and that's why I think it like blew my expectations away so much, because it was really cute.
Yeah, it looks like that or Two Perfect Saint were the biggest kind of winners in this tier list.
Okay, I swear, though, the only reason why I thought Two Perfect Saint was even close to a C tier before was because the trailers show you absolutely nothing. It showed you, like, pretty animation, but then it didn't show you if there was going to be actual story or progression of anything. So they need to do better on their trailers.
And then in the opposite camp, Lazarus showed you basically the whole show in the trailer.
Oh.
And then didn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
So that looks like our biggest loser of the season.
Well, technically the biggest loser of the season was Can a Boy Girl Friendship Survive, because I wanted that to be good. Like, I'm totally fine with love triangles and all that drama, but I just,
Yeah, but it survived to not being dropped.
Yeah, but that was because I was sitting there saying to myself that I was committed to it. We didn't end up watching Witch Watch yet because it's flowing over, so we don't know.
Same with Fire Force.
I decided to drop Sword of the Demon Hunter off of my list because I saw that it had some questionable, violent things that I don't agree with, so I decided not to watch it, but you watched some of it.
Yeah, I've watched like the first 3 episodes, and it's actually pretty good so far. I can't say for how well it's going to go, but it's probably in B or A.
I think the conservative original assumption of Kowloon Generic Romance being a B. That was another one, though, where it was like the trailer was super confusing, but it makes sense now why it was confusing, so.
I wouldn't have want them to put much more in there.
No. As a final review tier list for the Spring 2025 anime season, I think that it was still a fairly high quality season, even if we ourselves didn't go through as many shows as we normally do. Let us know in the comments which show from Spring 2025 was your favorite and what you may or may not disagree with in our tier list. And if you're having fun, please like and subscribe.